Allie has been an incredible leader in this space, and in AOL, with their commitment to leadership, female leadership, over 50% by 2020 is the goal. And now in this newly combined entity of Oath, really interested to hear more about what your goals are, why that's important to you, and how now at Oath you're going to bring that to life.
You know, when we think about the 50-50 goal by 2020, it's not something that was hard for us to do. You know, I think that making that commitment is something that's been part of our DNA ever since I've been part of the company, led by our CEO, Tim Armstrong, who was the first to bring makers in-house and build that out, which is one of the leading women's brands, content brands in the world. He's the first to fund Built by Girls, which is a venture group that funds female-led startups. That goal and committing to it was not anything that anyone had to convince someone, or in particular him, to do.
It's really exciting. How do you see that that's impacted your business potential?
Having balance around that table helps us think about how that comes to market. I mean, we're in the middle of building a new brand. Like, every perspective, we need not just women and men, but we also need all type of ethnic diversity. I mean, we represent 1.3 billion consumers around the world. We need to look like they look.
How do you make that actually real versus just a platitude?
Yeah. You know, I think you wake up every day and you do it. At the end of the day, we find it's the little things. It's showing up and making sure there's a diverse candidate set in every pool. It's setting standards and quotas, in fact, for, what does the diversity of candidacy look like and of the interview pool look like, and what does the diversity and makeup of your team look like? Having metrics around that that are very similar to revenue metrics at our company.
You were talking about your unconscious bias training.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah. It's fascinating. I think people think about unconscious bias, particularly as a woman. I went into the training feeling that unconscious bias training would teach me how to deal with people that were bringing unconscious bias to the table around me. And in reality, what I found was that I was bringing just as much unconscious bias to the table.
You're doing so much great work at Oath. Why is all of this, for you as a CMO, a marketing imperative specifically?
Because it's who we want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, at a brand level, both an employee brand, both what we stand for, the brands we attract, the partners we want to work with, the values we stand for. We've got to behave in a way you can be proud of. It's interesting to look at the makeup of some of the companies in the world that are, particularly those that are dependent on consumer buying power, which is almost entirely driven and led by women, yet, white men sitting at the top of the organizations.
The companies that are winning are customer-centric.
100%.
And if those customers are women, women's
what's the
voice
buying
at the
power
table,
of women?
right?
Yeah.
Is a total business imperative. So
absolutely.
it's an exciting time, I think, for women.
To be a woman.
Yes.